JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Tuesday, April 8th, 9 a.m. On this fine Tuesday, talk quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P futures to the upside here, up over 2%, 2.4%. I'm actually trying to stream again. If someone wants to stream, I can put the screen on. Let's see if I can do that. And let's try that. Share my screen. And I'll do this. And let's see if that works. Okay. So talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking to go from there. S&P futures up 2.4%. Going to be an interesting next couple days, right? I mean, if there was a chance to really you know push markets into a bear market, and we were in a bear market for a little bit in the early morning yesterday. Yesterday would be it, and now I wouldn't call it a sigh of relief, but it's like, okay, now some of the tariff situation is priced in. I don't think the tariff situation, if they stay in place the way they are, is priced in. I think the market's pricing in that there's going to be some back and forth and some resolution to it, right? I mean, that's in my opinion, and so I think it's pretty much priced in the shock of last Wednesday, and now we'll go from there and see what happens. Also, I think if you take a something optimistic out of yesterday, it was how the market react to that headline. And Walter Bloomberg, I remember when he used to have like 50,000 followers. I do not know how the Bloomberg network and the Bloomberg terminal does not do some kind of cease and desist against him, because he's been copying and pasting the Bloomberg terminal for years now. So, needless to say, he came out with the news, or the apparent news, that there was going to be a 90-day pause on the tariffs besides China. And then all of a sudden markets reversed like you've never seen before. I mean, it was an 8% rally in a matter of 6 minutes. The SPY was at 593 or so, and we were at 524. And by it was 10:11, and then then 10:17 we're at 524 on the SPY. Just remarkable, just crazy. So it just shows all the pent up, I wouldn't call it the angst, but the relief when finally something was announced. So we'll see how things all play out in the next couple of days. I still think there's more risk to the upside than downside. Not ruling out that we can't have a pull here, but I think we possibly go up and gap fill the Thursday levels, right? So I think it's 536. I think I put it on a watch list. So that'd be a spot to be watching in the next couple sessions. We do get CPI data Thursday. I really don't think that's going to move markets much. If anything, it's going to be the best or the coolest CPI data in the last 3 to 4 years. So if anything, it might be construed somewhat bullish. But take a look at my annotations on the chart. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but these are months, weeks, and years of annotations. It looks like spaghetti lines, right? But those are support resistance lines. And to me, chart's always a history lesson. I'm not saying that they always come down to these points of support when things fall and uh, hit the lines on the way up as resistance, but it's a guideline, right? The market's trying to find the best to play the markets. You got to have the best edges you can, right? And charts are one of them. It's a history lesson. So surprising enough, we came all the way down to that 482 area yesterday morning before bouncing. We'll see. That's a big spot. And then today, so if we do get some crazy reversal, I'll be watching at the 500, 498 level, only because that's where we traded a lot of the day yesterday. So that looks like a key spot. So we want to see that hold if things do get crazy. And these are my spaghetti lines. So, I mean, if you look, there's over the past year and a half, but under that, then there's a lot of air pockets, right? And I think 440 would be the next clear target on the SPY if things get crazy. And if this tariff situation prolongs period of time, maybe next week or the week after, then I think things will get not fun again. So that's kind of the overall market. So now individual names, and again, I had Restoration Hardware on the watch list yesterday, just as some potential plays. Unfortunately, the premiums tend to be very expensive on RH, and they were expensive yesterday morning at the open. Stocks are down. S&P's gapping out 4%, was almost down 5% at the lows at about 936. And Restoration Hardware was holding up, and it was 145, 146. And I looked, and the weekly 200 strikes, they were like 65 by 80. I'm like, that's tough. I mean, do I expect it to rally 33% or whatever in a matter of a week? Not really, but if it just went up 20 or 30 bucks, the premiums on the 200s would have went up substantially. So got those for 70 cents. And then sure enough, I always, I was saying it yesterday afternoon on the rant, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I'm certainly lucky to get that, that tweet at 10:10 yesterday, 10:11 yesterday morning. But I think it was going to bounce regardless. So in a matter of 15 minutes, RH went from 142 all the way up to 174. Just remarkable move. Price discovery at its finest, right? So lucky enough, close them out for 100% on the way up. Then when the tweet came out, close some more for 500%, and then in the afternoon for 600%. And then I just have a few left. I'll probably hold those. I was saying I think there's two outcomes, right? The one outcome is it's over $200 this week, as crazy as that sounds. And the other outcome, we have some weakness and the market pulls it back into the 140s. I'll probably use 165 or so as a stop, but I'll probably hold the last couple just because, I say small becomes big quickly in this type of environment, and big can become small. Right now, I have a small position that's getting bigger, and if it continues to rally, it'll be very big. So I'll just hold on to the rest of those. And I'm not saying it's going to go fill its earnings gap up near 220, but I think maybe up near $200 if the market cooperates. So that's RH. W, I'm still waiting for W to cross over that 30 handle. 30.99 is its gap fill from last Wednesday into Thursday. If it breaks over that, don't call. I'm not. I would not be surprised to see it trade up near $35. So still holding my April 17 30s. I already locked some of those in last week. I'll continue to hold those. And then if we break up near 30.99 or so as that gap fill, I'll probably look for some more strikes to play for a move to the upside. So that's RH. And then later in the afternoon, after the noon hour, I added some deck strikes. And I was actually looking at deck in the morning. I missed a spike on the news, went all the way up past 110. Pulled back, then was just chopping around near 104. I said, here's a great opportunity to get some calls. I was looking at weekly strikes, but then the strikes into next week look interesting on a risk reward basis. So added those. It was up near 110 just earlier. If I'm able to get some out to cover costs at 100%, I'll do that after the open, and then I'll ride the rest because another name that I think, it's been way oversold. I'm not saying not rightfully so, but I think if some of this resolution with the tariffs happens, it's a name that I think could certainly reverse course. That's RH. Netflix, I was watching yesterday. I was mentioned in the chat room when I got the Netflix calls last week, the 1,000 strikes, they were like $1. Netflix was at 8.50 yesterday morning, and the 1,000 strikes that expired on Friday were $1 still, with it $150 out of money. So you're talking 15+% move just to get close to being in the money. Sure enough, this morning, JP Morgan adjusted a price. They actually raised their price target on Netflix, reiterated like a best idea. The stock is up near $900. I'll be watching. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find a decent risk reward strike, but if I can, I think it trades up near 970 in the coming days. I made this little meme. It's funny. We almost came to a bear market yesterday. Typically, a bear market's we got to close 20% from the highs. We were at 20% from the highs on the S&P and then reversed. But it's like all the perma bears will go into they're all pounding their chests yesterday morning. Oh, we called it whatever, and then if you were able to close your puts out on that spike, good for you, right? Just that, I was trying to think of some of the other moves in recent history, but obviously the flash crash was one of them. But always worry that the hardest part of being a bear in this market, we can be down under 500 on the under 440 on the SPY in the coming weeks, but it's the hold, right? How can you hold your position that long to take advantage of it with these spikes? That's what makes it so hard to be successful in the bear market, unless you're timing it just on an intraday basis or doing daily. To hold for that long term, anyway, crazy stuff. All right, so that's Restoration Hardware. It's W. GameStop. Ryan Cohen announced, not announced, but filed an insider buy, 500,000 shares, over $10 million. He added like $21. I'm surprised the GME is not up more this morning. But really like this one long for the next week and months. I think it trades up near 35 plus in the coming weeks. Unfortunately, it was up 3% yesterday, but the premiums didn't come into the calls. So I'm still looking for some May strikes. I'll be patient there. And then some other names. I keep looking at Nike here. I'm probably going to be kicking myself, but 62.50 maybe is trading up here near 58.50. Another strong name that has just been absolutely demolished. It was 82.50 at the start of March, down to 52.50. So 60% haircut. And then last but not least, if the poop, I call them the poop hit the fan calls, but SQQQ, which I keep talking about it, CBOE actually added strikes all the way up to 85, which makes them more attractive, right? To me, the premise of small can become big plays even better with these 3 times ETFs. If we get bounces here, those calls are going to be a heck of a lot less expensive. So I may, especially if we get up near 530 on the SPY, start just nibble 1 or 2 far out of the money calls on those, just as shit hit the fan put hedges, right? As hedges for market downside, just in case, because I was surprised with last Wednesday. So I'm not going to rule out that there's going to be more surprises. I don't want to be caught with my pants down. So that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.